Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, let's read from verse 24. Okay, we'll read verse 24 to verse number 27. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavamajanantaha mamavyayam naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha Budhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajam avyayam vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani samboham sarge yanti parantapa. So what have we seen last time? Last time Bhagwan said, why is it that people fail to recognize me? He said, because I am avyakta. My nature is unmanifest. My nature is avyaya. It is immutable. And anuttamam. It is most excellent. But yet some people, they limit me to a form, a certain name, a certain time, a certain place. And because of that, they're unable to recognize me. I am none other than the essence of you, but people don't recognize that. And why is that? So in verse number 25, Bhagavan says, I am not Prakasha, means I am not recognized because of my Yogamaya. My Yogamaya is that which veils everybody. And we already saw the topic of Maya. It's not the appearance that is veiling us actually. It's when we take that appearance as a reality. That's what veils us. It doesn't matter if everything manifests, everything shows up, and there's so many names and forms and beings. That's not a problem at all. Many snakes can appear in many robes. That's fine. But the issue is, if we take it to be real, that's when we face sorrow. So it is because we are taking these appearances to be real, that's why we are facing that sorrow. And he says, therefore, the world doesn't know me as that who is unborn, Ajam, and Avyayam, who's imperishable. Then the question came that Bhagwan, are you deluded by your own Maya? And in verse 26, he said, no, no, no. I am not deluded by my own Maya, Arjuna. I know everything. As pure awareness, I illumine everything. And as the total mind, I know of the past, present, and future. But nobody knows me. And so then the question comes again, again, the question comes, why is it so hard to realize this truth? And that's where we were last time. Bhagavan says in verse 27 that we are deluded by dvandva mohena. We are deluded by these two things. What are these two things? These two things are joy and sorrow. Where do they rise from? Raga dvesha or ichcha dvesha. They rise from ichcha dvesha. Ichcha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata. So as I explained in the last class, that because we are ignorant of our true nature, we take the world to be real and different from us. Then we start to superimpose that something is good, it will make me happy, and something will make me sad. We start this superimposition of joy and sorrow. And whatever it is we think will make us happy, we like that. And whatever it is that we think will make it sad, we dislike it. And then we spend our whole lives running after what we like. And our whole lives running away from what we don't like. And then when we get what we like, that is sukha, that is joy. And when we don't get what we like, that is sorrow. So the joy and sorrow arising from raga dvesha is that when we get what we like, we are so happy. And when we don't get what we like, we are so sad. And we all know that even if we get what we like, we will only get it for a limited time. After that, it will go away. And then we will be sad again, right? So this joy and sorrow, because it's so limited, the sorrow is limited, it didn't satisfy us, so we want to pursue again. The joy is limited, it didn't satisfy us, so we pursue again. So what happens is again we get back into this cycle of samsara, where we are helplessly pulled by our likes and dislikes into action, into joy and sorrow, into again then wanting more, into more action, into more joy and sorrow. So he says like this, sarva bhutani, all beings, yanti, they are subject to sammoham, to this delusion. All beings are subject to this delusion. When sargeapi, since birth. Since birth, and that's why we have taken birth. We have taken birth because we had such great vasanas. That's why we took birth. We had such deep and great vasanas, and that's why we are here, going through this cycle again and again, seeking outward what's already inside. What's already there, we are still looking out, looking out, looking out. So this is what's happening to all of us. And no matter how much we hear it, Still, we're looking out. So Bhagavan says, be careful, don't be like this. On the other hand, there are these different kinds of seekers. Who are they? They're spoken of in verse 28. The seekers in verse 28, they attain to my realization. The ones in verse 27, because they're outward looking, still trying to get joy from the world, they will not attain me. So now let us see verse 28. And that's where we start from today. Yesham tvantagatam papam
Yesham tvantagadam papam
jananam punyakarmanam
jananam punya karmanam
te dvandva moha nirmuktaha
te dvandva moha nirmuktaha
bhajante mam dridhavrataha.
bhajante mam dridhavrataha
Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam dridhavrataha. He says, but listen, Yesham, those who, the two is but, those who, antagatam papam, those whose sins, papa, antagatam is at an end, means they have decreased, whose negative tendencies, whose sinful tendencies have decreased, jananam, of these beings, punya karmanam, and whose punya deeds are higher. So what happened? Their papa, their negative tendencies are lowering, and their positive tendencies are going higher. These people, who are they? Te dvandva moha nirmuktaha. They are free of this delusion of joy and sorrow. Bhajante, they seek Mam, they seek me, dridhavrataha, steadfast in their vows. So those of virtuous deeds whose sins have come to an end, who are freed from delusion of the pairs of opposites and steadfast in vows, worship me. So who are the ones who will get the truth? Bhagavan says, Krishna Papa. So in the Bhashya, in Adi Shankaracharyaji's commentary, he says, Antagatam means samapta praya kshinam papam. So almost their negative tendencies have really gone down. Now, whenever we're talking about negative tendencies, somebody asked a question once, what should you focus on first? Because we have so many negativities. So if we want to get rid of them, which one should we focus on first? So focus on the ones that are harming more people. If we have an anger problem that's harming a lot of people in the house, please work on that. And if we have a coffee problem that we're drinking 3 cups of coffee, a day, and we want to cut it down to 2, work on the anger problem first. Coffee problem is not that bad. It's not as bad. But if there's a problem that is going to affect so many people, if we have a problem where we are rash drivers, very rash drivers, fix that first. Then fix the coffee problem, soft drink problem, chocolate problem, fix all that later. It's okay. Don't stress too much about that. But let's work on those things that really affect so many people in a negative way. So those who have been able to work on themselves, because they realize that on the spiritual path, no matter how much we listen, no matter how much we reflect and read and go to so many satsangs, nothing will happen until we actually put the work. Because spiritual life, remember, is a life. It's not a study. Spiritual life is a life. So those who have decreased their negative tendencies to a great extent, and then they are free from this joy and sorrow. What do we mean? They have become clear. I am not going to get joy or sorrow from this world. Means this world is not worth for me to even look at, to even pay too much attention to. I'll do what I have to do. We'll do our dharma. We'll fulfill everything that we need to fulfill. But my joy, my purpose, my life is only that truth. It's only Bhagavan. So this person is now beyond the joys and sorrows and the ups and downs of the world. It doesn't matter. This person says, I will do whatever my dharma is. Whatever I get, it's fine. It's prasad. If it's, if Bhagwan sometimes gives me pain, it's okay. I know it's for me to evolve. I know. I trust that. And if Bhagwan gives me some joy, it's okay. I know it's because I need it right now to go further, right? So this person has complete trust that whatever joy or sorrow comes, it's not even from the world. The world is not giving it to me. Bhagavan is just giving me what I need to grow. That's all. And I don't need to go into the world anymore for anything. I just have that one purpose, that one goal, and that is the truth, the realization of the truth. And because of that, Dridhavrataha, this person is one with a very strong vow. Vrata means vow. Dridha, firm vow. So this being has taken the firm vow that I'm going to realize the truth. That's it. I am going to realize the truth. This is my goal. This is my purpose. This is the vow. And in this way, this bhakta mam bhajante, this bhakta worships me. This bhakta worships me, having worked on himself, herself, turning down the negative tendencies. This bhakta has worshipped me, accepting everything that comes as prasad and only wanting me. And this bhakta worships me as taking this firm vow that my life is about truth. Nothing more than that. This is my vow. And so Bhagwan says, very nice. Those are the bhaktas that I want, that I love. And to them, I grant something very special because they pick me. They want to come to me. So I grant them something very special. So now he says in verse 29, Jara Marana Mokshaya
Jara Marana Mokshaya
Mam Ashritya Yatantiye
Mam Ashritya Yatantiye
Te Brahma Tadviduh Kritsnam
Te Brahma Tadvidu Kritsnam
Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam
Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam
Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatantiye Te Brahma Tadviduh Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. We'll read verse 30 also. Sadhi Bhutadi Daivam Mam
Sadhibhutadidevam Mam
Sadhiyajñam cha ye viduhu
Sadhiyatnyam cha ye viduhu
prayanakalepi cha mam
Prayanakalepi cha Mam
te viduryukta chetasaha.
Te viduryukta
साधिभूतादिदेवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः. So what he says is, those, ye, in verse 29 now, ye, those who, mam ashritya, those who have taken refuge in me, yatanti, and they strive. What do they strive for? Jara marana mokshaya. For those who strive for liberation from old age and death, what happens to them? They viduhu, they know tat brahma, they know that Brahman. How? Kritsnam, they know that Brahman entirely. Adhyatmam, they know the knowledge of the self entirely. Karma cha akhilam, and they know the entire karma. They know all karma. Those who strive for liberation from old age and death, taking refuge in me, they realize in full that Brahman, the whole knowledge of the self and all actions. So those who take refuge in Bhagwan and who want to be free from this world, this old age, death, this entire cycle of samsara. Not old age and death, not only that, but again birth, again growth, again development, again decay. Those who want to be free from that, they take refuge in me. He says they will know three things here. They will know Brahma in its entirety, the knowledge of the self in its entirety, and karma in its entirety. And then in verse number 30, he says, Sadhi bhutadi devam. They will also know adhibhuta. This adhi means pertaining to. So adhi and atma becomes adhyatma, pertaining to oneself, which we saw in verse 29. Here, adhibhuta, pertaining to beings. Adhideva, pertaining to the devas or the devatas. So that's now 4 things and 5 things. Adhibhuta, adhideva. And then adhiyagnya. That sadhiyagnya means sahita, with adhiyagnya. That is the 6th thing. And then he says, prayana kale api. Prayana kale means even at the time of death, mam te viduhu, they will know me. Who are they? Yukta chetasaha, those who are steadfast in their mind. So he says, those who know me with the adhibhuta, adhideva, adhiyagnya, know me at the time of death, steadfast in the mind. So what he's saying here basically is that those people who have taken refuge in me, they will know all of these 7 things which we have enumerated. They will know Brahma, they will know Adhyatma, the knowledge of the self, they will know Karma, they will know Adhibhuta, pertaining to elements, they will know Adhideva, pertaining to the devas, they will know Adhyagnya, pertaining to yagnyas or sacrifice, and they will know me prayanakal, they will know me at the time of death. And this is the reward of the bhakta. The reward of the bhakta is that they will know Bhagwan in entirety. Now, in these verses 29 to 30, one might be wondering what these terms mean. They will be explained in chapter 8. these 7 terms that we just discussed, the seed for chapter 8 is these 2 verses. So chapter 8 will expound on all of that. So what we will do now is we will chant the final shloka of this chapter, and then we will do a whole recap. Okay? So we will chant the last verse. Om Tat Saditi
Om Tat Saditi
Shrimad Bhagavad Gitasu
Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
Upanishatsu
Upanishatsu
Brahma Vidyayam
Brahma Vidyayam
Yoga Shastre
Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Sri Krishnarjuna Samvade
Jnana Vijnana Yogo Nama
Jnana Vijnana Yogo Nama
Saptamodhyayaha.
Saptamodhyayaha.
Okay, so now we will do the recap, and then we don't feel that right now. Oh, I've studied chapter 7. I don't remember what I did. So don't worry. We're going to do the recap. Then after the recap, we will feel we have studied chapter 7. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And just bear with me here. Right. Okay. Okay, good. I think you should all be able to see it. Yeah, you can all see it? Yeah, good. Okay. So, just to come back to where we started in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, Yoga of Arjuna's Grief. Arjuna broke down. I'm going to go a little fast in these slides of the chapters 1 to 6 because we've seen them before. So Arjuna broke down in chapter 1. This we know. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, Yoga of Knowledge. What happened? Sri Krishna gives Arjuna the highest knowledge possible. He tells Arjuna, you are Atman. You are unborn, you are undying, you are changeless. Knowing this, don't grieve. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. Arjuna says, okay, I am Atman, but what do I do? So Lord Krishna says, listen, pursue Jnana Yoga, but perform Karma Yoga. Right now, you cannot leave everything and go into Jnana Yoga. You have to still work in the world and do your dharma. This is what you need to do because you are a kshatriya and you have a dharma to fulfill and you have vasanas to exhaust. So perform karma yoga. It's a means. At the same time, you can listen to me when I talk about jnana yoga and eventually make your way there. Then chapter 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, through knowledge, renunciation of action. So there we find a very different meaning, which is actually in and through the world, we can be performing action. In and through the world, we can be performing action. How? Here, action means when we have the presence of doership. And when we don't have the presence of doership, it is inaction. So it's about seeing inaction in action, right? And we went over this beautiful verse. Then chapter 5, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, renunciation of action. Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, there is also people who pursue the path, who renounce all actions, right? So clearly, what we need to do, all of us, is focus on karma yoga, purify the mind, and make our way to jnana yoga. This is very clear. Bhagavan Krishna was clear about it. Now, in chapter 5, he says, actually, this step 1 can be broken into 2 different ways. Some people can take the path of karma yoga, and some people can take the path of karma sannyasa to prepare themselves for jnana yoga. So in chapter 5, he talks about those people who take the path of karma sannyasa, right? And we went through this kind of thing. Though there are certain people who want to go in this path and just focus on Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, very fine. There are some people who want to have a family, engage in work in society, very fine. Whatever it is we do, we need to make our way to the truth and be true to who we are. Then, in chapter 6, one asks, why is there this, almost kind of insistence on Adi Shankaracharya ji from purifying and withdrawing, slowly withdrawing? Why? Because we have to come to this path of meditation, Atma Samyama Yoga, yoga of meditation. And if we want to meditate, we cannot have an overactive lifestyle. We have to have a moderate lifestyle, simple living, high thinking. And this is chapter 6. It's all about just meditation, how to meditate, when to meditate, where to meditate, why meditate. All of these things we covered in chapter 6. Now, the end of chapter 6, Bhagavan Krishna gives a seed for chapter 7. He says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajante yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. So among all yogis, yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana, the one who is merged in me, shraddhavan, the one who is full of shraddha, bhajate mam, the one who worships me, that person is yuktatamo mataha, most devout. So in this, there are 3 seeds planted. The one who's self-merged in me. So Arjuna's probably wondering, who are you, Bhagavan? This whole time, I didn't realize who you are. What else? Who is this person who's full of faith, who's merged in you? What does this person look like? What's the characteristics of this person? And how does one worship you? So what we find here is Bhagavat Swarupa, Bhakta Swarupa, and Bhakti Swarupa. So this is what's answered in chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Means the yoga of knowledge and wisdom. What is the yoga of knowledge and wisdom? It is understanding the nature of God, Bhagavat Swarupa, the nature of the bhakta or the devotee, Bhakta Swarupa, and the nature of devotion, Bhakti Swarupa. So, Bhagavat Swarupa, Bhakta Swarupa, Bhakti Swarupa. These 3 things are the yoga of knowledge and wisdom, and these 3 questions are answered in this chapter. And they're answered in between, in like a nice rhythm. So this is the breakdown of chapter 7. We have from verses 1 to 3, the introduction, then 4 to 7, the nature of God, 8 to 12, the Vibhuti or God in creation, 13 to 15, Maya and its influence, 16 to 19, the Swarupa of the Bhakta, 20 to 23, worship of the finite, other devatas, 24 to 27, difficulty of understanding God. 28, how to worship God. And 29 to 30, the seed for the 8th chapter. Okay, so let's start. So in the beginning, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, I will give this knowledge completely and doubtlessly to those people whose mind is devoted in me, who have taken refuge in me, whose mind is focused on me. He will give the knowledge of that yoga of knowledge and wisdom. He will give it. And in chapter 7, he's giving it to all of us. He's giving it to all of us, these three things, right? The nature of God, the nature of the devotee, the nature of devotion. He's giving it to all of us. But guess what? Only if our mind is devoted to Bhagavan, if our mind has taken refuge, if our mind is focused, then only we will understand it. Otherwise, we won't understand it, even if he says it. Then he says in verse 3, a very, very beautiful verse, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. That very few people come to this knowledge. And even those who come, very few continue on the path. And even of those who continue on the path, very few see it to completion and realize. So therefore, Arjuna, you are the rare one who has come to this path. Not many people are able to come to this. And when we talked about this, we had seen how just to be able to assimilate and understand knowledge, we have to have a body, healthy body. We have to have some kind of shelter, food, clothing, safety, security, some money. We have to have all these basic necessities just for us to come to this knowledge. And not many people have it. And if we are able to make our way here, then we must take advantage of it, because we have been blessed. We have been blessed with this opportunity. And therefore, we should see it through fully, completely. The fact that you and I are here now, it's not random. Bhagavan's grace is upon us. That's why you and I can open the Bhagavad Gita and read it. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen to so many people. So if we have the chance, pursue it, because this is the purpose of life. Then he talks about the nature of God. And he starts by saying that there is what we call apara prakriti, or my lower nature. My lower nature is the 5 subtle elements: space, air, fire, water, earth, mind, intellect, ego. This is my lower nature. And then he says, my higher nature is consciousness expressing as jiva, as sentient beings. This is my para prakriti, or my higher nature. So you have my lower nature, which is insentient, and my higher nature, which is sentient. My lower nature, which is impure, and my higher nature, which is essentially pure. The essence of jiva is essentially pure. So he says that actually I am the material and efficient cause of the entire world. I am the cause, I am the sustenance and dissolution of the entire world. Now, you see, this is a painting, right? So what does this say in the painting? Bhagavan, in his real nature, is the canvas. And so this painting was painted in a white canvas. And of course, now it's all veiled. And the lower nature, we'll see, are things like the clouds and the sky and this car and the wheel and the seat. and this hat, and the bodies, the minds, the intellect, the higher, the trunk, the leaves. But the higher nature is the life that's expressing in the tree, the life that's expressing in the flowers, the life that is expressing in the couple and in the child. That's the jiva, that's the higher nature. So Bhagavan is expressing as the insentient, but at the same time sentient. And this expression of sentient and insentient are just expressions. And they are an appearance in what? In that white canvas where the painting is on. So Bhagavan is essentially the substratum of this entire painting of Prakriti. Maya is a painting. It's a painting. And so then he begins to say, actually, if you want to know the truth, there is nothing other than me, because it is just me. All of these things are an appearance in me, like the dream example, that your whole mind becomes everything in the dream, that one mind becomes every single thing in the dream, but it's that one mind alone appearing as all that. And there is no person, sun, moon, etc., apart from the dreaming mind. So in the same way, there is no name, form, appearance apart from consciousness. And so in verse 7, he says, Mataf parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. That everything is strung in me like pearls in a necklace. I am that pure, undivided consciousness, and all these things, names and forms, they appear in me like the strings, like these pearls in a necklace. And just like in this necklace, it's very, very hard to see the string. Amidst the names and forms, it's very hard to see me. It's very hard to see me. So the question comes, Bhagavan, I can't see you this way. I can't realize you this way, that you are a pure consciousness appearing as all of these names and forms. This is hard. So Bhagavan says, don't worry. If you can't recognize my bhuti, come to my vibhuti. See my glory in this world. Because when we come to see God's expressions in the world, that's a gateway to come to God. Seeing goodness is a gateway to come to God. So he says, see me as the essence of all things. I am taste in water. I am the light in the sun and the moon. I am Om in all of the Vedas. He says, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. I am the austerity of the austere. I am the splendor of the splendid. So he spent many verses describing this, making us understand that he's the essence of all things. Then he said that I am the strength of adhering to dharma. So I am that bala, I am that strength which adheres to dharma, that is beyond kama and raga, beyond this desire and attachment. I am that kind of strength. And he said, I am that desire which is not opposed to dharma. So I also express as desire. I am desire that's controlled, that's channeled towards the higher, that contributes to the greater good. I am that kind of desire. See me, see me, see me as goodness in the world, and you will get to me. Then what does a person say? Bhagavan, still I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time seeing you, right? Bhagavan says, look, I am that reality in everything. Eventually, you have to come to this. Understand that everything is an appearance in me, but I am not in them. So, like this movie is appearing in the screen, but the screen is not affected by the movie. A screen is merely the substratum of the movie, but is not affected by the movie. So any appearance can come on the screen. It's not a problem because the screen is not affected by the movie. The screen is not attached. The screen is not tainted. So for a sadhaka, any thoughts can come in the mind. Any happenings can come in the mind. But don't worry, because you are that pure awareness that is untouched by all of these thoughts that arise in the mind. Then he says, oh, but wait, I'm not able to see that screen. I'm not able to recognize it. Bhagwan, please, please help me. He says, don't worry, it's Maya. It's hard. I know. My Maya is Duratyaya. So I get it. But I'll tell you a secret. The secret is those who surrender to me can surely transcend Maya. So what is Maya? This whole topic we also saw. But very briefly, that which does two things. What it does is, inside, we're not able to distinguish the seer from the seen. This body is seen. I am the seer. The mind is seen. I am the seer. The ego is seen. I am the seer. I meaning consciousness. That which prevents us from distinguishing these two, that's called Maya. The second thing is in the world. The world is actually pure awareness, consciousness, existence. But all I'm seeing is names and forms. I'm not able to penetrate through the names and forms to get to existence, to get to awareness. I'm not able to do that. I'm not able to distinguish that consciousness, existence from names and forms. I'm not able to do that. And that is Maya, power of Maya. But Bhagavan says, those who surrender to me in knowledge or in devotion, they surely can transcend Maya. Because remember, as Atman, as the self, you are already beyond Maya. It's just a matter of recognizing that. What happens to those who don't recognize it? Why are there people who don't seek you? Why are there people who don't recognize it? He says, because they are mudaha. The attention of people is outside. It's in the movie. It's not in the screen. They get so excited with what's happening in the movie, all the different action scenes, the comedy, the drama. They get so excited in the movie, and that they keep reveling in it. They're reveling in these sense objects and in the sensory world. And in the meantime, without knowing it, their knowledge has been kidnapped, and they sink very low, to the point that sometimes they even do violent things, adharmic things, wrong things, because they're so focused on the outside world, focused on the movie, but not the screen. So then, Bhagwan, are there people who focus on the screen? Well, he says, let me tell you, there are 4 kinds of people who actually come to me, who are making their way to the screen, and one who has already found the screen. They are Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Artha means those who seek me when they're in distress. Artharthi means those who seek me when they want something, like money, like power, like, lots of good relations, they family. Jignasu, those who seek me to know me, those who are curious about me. And jnani, those who have already found me, those who have sought me and have become one with me. They are now one with the screen. And of these 4 devotees, please note that I love them all. I love them all because they're coming to me. People in distress could go to somebody else. People who want things could go to somebody else. But they're coming to me, and that says a lot. As long as they're coming to me, I love them. But the one that I love the most is the jnani. Why? Jnani means the person of wisdom. Why? Because that jnani is so single-pointed. The devotion to me of the jnani is so single-pointed. Meaning that for other devotees, there's sometimes when the devotion is strong, sometimes it's weak. Sometimes the devotion is very deep and intense, sometimes it's shallow. But for the jnani, because devotion doesn't depend on the time or place or situation or mind, devotion is that they're ever one with me. They are beyond this body, mind, intellect, ego. They are that awareness. So they are ever one with me. They don't even need to connect to me. They're ever one. And eka bhakti, they have a single devotion, meaning they're never not devoted to me, because everywhere they turn and in everything they see only me. They see only me. And therefore, jnani is one with me. We are essentially one. There's actually no difference. It is like Sita Rama, Radha Krishna, right? There's no difference. And they are steadfast, totally steadfast in me. And I was their only goal. Means they're only about me. And the jnani has come to the highest realization, the vision of Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, that everything is God, everything is truth, everything is awareness. They have come to that realization that Vasudeva is everything. That's the highest realization. The jnani has done that. Of those rare people who have come to this knowledge, this jnani has seen it through, has fulfilled it, has come to completion. And this jnani is none other than my own self. So therefore, the love for jnani. Then he talks about people who worship other devatas, because so many devotees come to Bhagavan, but are there other people who go somewhere else? And where do they go? He says, yes, there are people who go somewhere else, and they're worshiping these limited deities because they're led by their desires, whether it be limited forms of deities or politicians or movie stars or athletes or other people, or they're just worshiping other things. They're led by their desires. They follow whatever rules, whatever regulations there are. And as they worship, they get what they want, so their faith increases. But they don't know that these other devatas, other beings, they get their power from me, Bhagavan says. It's like when you're worshiping this tap, and this tap is bringing water to you. But why not worship the water reservoir? Right? Because the water reservoir has an infinite supply of water. Why are you and I going to worship the tap? When you and I worship the tap, we're just getting small, finite, limited results. But if we worship the infinite, imagine what we would get. We would get the infinite. And it is at this point where Sri Krishna got so mad. He says it takes the same effort to worship the finite and the infinite, but some of us still choose to worship the finite. So then what happens? Sri Krishna says that some people still have a difficulty understanding who I am. I am unmanifest, but they think that I have taken this form. They think I have taken this form and they don't know who I am. I am infinite, they think I'm finite. I am unmanifest, they think I am manifest. And it's because of my Yogamaya that they're deluded. But Bhagwan, are you deluded by your Yogamaya? He said, no, absolutely not. I know who I am. I know the past, present, future, and I am also beyond time. But there are people who are deluded by joy and sorrow arising from likes and dislikes, and they keep pursuing this world. And these vasanas have come to them, have come to all of us from birth itself. And they just keep going and going and going and going in the cycle of samsara. But then there are those who say that they are taking this vow, dridhavrataha, to know that their only purpose in life is to realize the truth. This is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. And this is the beautiful verse that we just saw. Those whose negative tendencies have gone down, those who are free from this dvandva moha, those who have taken this vow, they will come to me. Bhagavan says, they will come to me. And what will happen? He says, they will know me in all of these 7 ways. They'll know Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adideva, Adiyagnya, and they will even know me at the time of death. And Bhagavan says here, listen, it's not that I didn't explain it in chapter 7. I explained everything very clearly, very, very clearly. What is the nature of God? What is the nature of the devotee? What is the nature of devotion? I explained it. In chapter 8, I'm going to give a little bit more of a technical explanation, and I'm also going to focus on what happens at the time of death. How should one think about me when they are dying? And where would one go after death? What is the afterlife like? That is what I will focus on in chapter 8. So this is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna has told us in the Bhagavad Gita. So now let us read the verses of chapter 7. We will read together so that we can really feel each verse. Now that we've gone through the whole summary, we'll read it, we'll feel each verse, and then we can close. We'll just chant together. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Saptamodhyayaha Jnana Vijnana Yogaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamanaf Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Nyasyasi Tatshrunu Jnanam Teham Savijnanam Idam Vakshyam Yasheshataha Yajñatva Neha Bhuyonyata Jnatavyamavashishyate Manusyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye Yatatamapi Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tatvataha Bhumirapo Nalo Vayuhu खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इतीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूता महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत् एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ ये चैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैः एभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम् दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञानाः आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्तः एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम् बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैस्तैरितज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मय्येव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तः ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः ॐ तत्सदिते श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः. We'll read the first verse. So it's a cycle that we will study this chapter again. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamanaf Partha Yoga Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Nyasyasi Tatshunu. With Bhagwan's grace, Puja Gurudev's blessings, Chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga has been complete. Thank you. I offer my pranams to all of you also here for giving me a chance to think deeply and reflect on this chapter. Say the closing prayer, and then we will have any questions if anyone has. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.